This is a property management frame breakers first. And by that, I mean it's going to be a podcast with barely any talking from me, Pablo Gonzalez, your host. This is actually another sneak peek into the SFHPM2030 virtual summit that we did about the future of AI and property management. This is the user panel. We had Randall Henderson, who's the COO of RentVine, which is a property management software with what I believe is the right POV of the future of having an open system. We've got Gina Hill, who is the head of operations at Peak Property Management. They're an 1,100 door property management company that does very, very well in a market in Virginia, I believe Richmond. And she's just razor sharp, really into the AI thing, talking about how she's implementing obstacles, stuff like that. And then we've got Ivey, who is the owner of Empire Property Management in Memphis, Tennessee, about 600 doors. He's doing some really advanced stuff. We're doing these like collaborative projects between us and other AI Alliance members to improve his workflows with agentic AI. And he's having a really good time with it. Just a really likable guy. Enjoy this panel. This is your people talking to you directly about how they are doing things. I'll shut up. Enjoy. Welcome to the Property Management Frame Breakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go. We want you to hear from peers like yourselves that are really passionate about this stuff. And we have hand-selected a couple of folks that I think are uniquely qualified to talk to this. Number one, the first person I'm going to introduce here is Gina Hill, who at Peak Property Management out of Richmond, they manage 1,100 doors. I've been told that she's just completely obsessed with AI. We talked about content creation, getting on other stages, being a thought leader. So Gina, can't wait to hear your opinions on there. You want to say hi to everybody?
Yeah, so excited to be here today to all of my kindred spirit AI enthusiasts. I'm gonna have to go see the chiropractor after this meeting because I've just been sitting here doing that, agreeing, hearing a lot of really great content. So getting a lot out of it and hoping to share some with you folks too.
I love it. Up next is a guy that I've taken a bunch of calls with. Another guy who I really like how he talks. Empire Property Management, Memphis, one of the hottest kind of like rental property real estate markets in the country. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're somewhere around like 600 doors.
Yeah, I think right now we're right at 600 doors, 650. There are a lot of sales in and out of the management company right now, and I feel like we're back to a emerging economy where we're really going to see some growth, and I'm super excited about it.
Cool. Aaron is a guy that is doing some really, really advanced stuff with AI right now, currently in his business. So definitely wanted to bring him here to not just show off his muscles, but show off his brain as well. And speaking of muscles, last but not least is the guy that I first met at NARPM Southern States when he was clearly the best dancer in the house, COO of Randall Henderson of RentVine, but not just COO of RentVine, right? He was VP of operations for PMI. So he's overseen a whole breadth of operations. And like I said, I really believe that RentVine has this like very, very important POV of keeping it open and lowering cost of switching. So Randall, I'm going to let you do this, man. I'm going to let you manage this thing. I'm going to step away. Take it away, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, Pablo. And I'm just excited to have a couple of amazing managers on here because at its core, property management is very process driven. So I know a lot of people on this call are thinking, well, how do I implement AI? Because, we've heard some amazing technology and that's a partnership and a vendor, but I'd love to see and hear from you guys today about what it is that you're actually doing. Before I start, I just want to echo Aaron and Lior's comments. I'm very bullish about property management as well. And if you guys followed the study that Peter Lohman and Jordan Muela just released, we know that property managers are starting to make the impact of becoming more than just a rent collector, more than just a guy in a wife beater plunging a toilet. We're actually becoming the asset manager, and it's professionalism and things like AI that are taking us there. So let me start with you, Gina. Gina, and I love that you're such an excited enthusiast and an early adopter, but how did you get started? What's actually working for you, and what is your kind of goal with AI?
Sure. So I had the great fortune of being contacted by ChatGPT when they were in their beta phases and being asked to participate in the beta testing. So I have been a huge fan and really for the last several years understanding how AI can bring myself personally to another level within the property management realm and professionally. So I knew that it was critical that once I became in charge of the operations here, we start to implement that. So our goal for the use of AI really starts with our vision and our growth goals. And we've got a vision to elevate the rental experience and raise the bar for how locally based property management companies are doing business. And that comes along with some pretty lofty growth goals as well. So the vision is almost entirely supported by our staff, and that's largely our remote staff who are providing a really great experience to folks. So they're giving our clients and our residents a feeling that they're getting a high level of personalized attention, right? But as our company has grown and scaled, we've added more properties, more clients, more residents, and it is becoming more and more challenging for our staff to continue to give the perception and the feeling of that personalized attention. So our staff has begun to feel the strain, feel the burden of our scaling, and it's only a matter of time once our staff feels that burden. Our residents and our clients are going to eventually feel that burden. So the goal behind the implementation of AI, and that's specifically AI virtual assistants, is that our team members are going to be equipped with their very own, very powerful, very capable assistants. And they're going to be able to delegate the more menial, seemingly kind of redundant tasks to them, buy back some time, some bandwidth, ideally prevent turnover and burnout, and ultimately be able to continue giving that high level personalized attention to our residents and our clients.
I love that insight, Gina. And I think this was mentioned earlier, maybe in one of the questions that, not losing that touch. At the end of the day, property management is still a trust business. It's a business where people like to deal with other people. And so it's finding those opportunities to bring that in with AI and not lose that touch. But Aaron, what are some of your insights? I know you're super focused on like profit margins and using AI to its max, but kind of share with us some of your early adopter.
Okay, that's really awesome. I have kind of a different story. When I first considered using AI, it was out of a sense of actual necessity, because I had a maintenance supervisor who had given me a very long notice, maybe 6 months, and he said, "Aaron, I'm gonna move out to another state, and I've got to go." And I had replaced my maintenance supervisor probably 3 times. We had implemented several softwares and had a great remote team member system that we were working with, but there were these, very natural inefficiencies that came from just 100% human operation of the maintenance programs. And we had cobbled together several different softwares in order to be able to provide a solution. And what I found in the process of doing that is that I was spending a lot of money trying to provide the assistance, like Gina was talking about, the customer service that our customers had expected, with this mishmash of systems. So I was contacted. It was kind of a strange, thing in the universe, I guess. I was contacted by David with Vendoroo. I had responded to an advertisement. He contacted me about a year ago, and he said, "Hey, we've got a program that we think is going to really do everything that you're looking for, and to basically do it for the same cost as what you're paying a maintenance supervisor." So I sat back and I considered the trade here of what I was going to get. I met David's team. I began to understand the onboarding process better. And in the process of all of that, I became a true believer. There was some intimidation here in my office. I had to convince some of my employees that we were not going to lose that edge. and that humanity, I guess, in our work. And I've got to tell you, never once has been working with Vendoroo. It's never been robotic. It's never felt out of touch. And I've always been able to get in touch with a human being every time. I don't even have to ask for one. They're there, but their implementation of AI changes the entire game of property maintenance.
Wow. So that's the big question too, is it's like you guys have selected vendors that are bringing in AI. What have been some of the obstacles in those rollouts? And so Gina, back to you, or just do you want to expand on, like you touched on agent assist, but what other things are you looking at, or what obstacles have you seen?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the biggest obstacle we've seen is, I think, an obstacle that you see a lot of times when any change comes down the turnpike, right? So change is scary, and so that leads our team members to fail to adopt and fail to buy in, right? So we needed to get to the basis of what's causing our team members not to buy in and not to adopt. And I really think that that boils down to a fear. And I've heard other folks mention it, that there's a fear that AI is going to replace the human and take their job. And this may be a naive opinion, but I strongly believe that AI is not intended to replace the human operator. AI is going to make the human operator an even more powerful tool within our team. So it's important to have our team realize that it's not intended to replace you. It's intended to support you, make you more powerful within your role. And hopefully once you get that buy-in, you can move past that. And I think it will eliminate way more obstacles than it would possibly create.
Yeah, I love that. And this feels like, and I think we touched on this earlier on this meeting, is that it feels like this is a point where you as an operator should be asking, maybe, how do I implement this? But maybe a better question to reverse engineer it is, what is going to happen if I don't do this? Where
Mhm.
where am I going to end up? Where am I going to be in a year or two or three? If other companies are expanding profit margins, getting better customer service, getting quicker maintenance times, what am I doing? But Aaron, share with us some of your obstacles that you've had to implementation and kind of what you've seen.
Okay, so I know I'm a walking commercial for a Vendoroo, but the reality is there have been no obstacles in onboarding AI as a team member. In fact, I have a different name for it that you may like. Kind of like Gina said, human beings are the heart of anything that we do. They're the heart of customer service. But what AI is for our remote team members and for me and my staff is scaffolding. AI is scaffolding. It gives us a structure for response. It helps eliminate the guesswork of how do I respond in a certain situation, who do I call, and kind of like what Jay does as well with Betterwho. It basically copies our processes and our best practices. And you had mentioned before, our contractors are also now becoming more integrated with AI. And so that scaffolding is what holds together that customer service experience. And with Vendoroo, what I found is that they've done all the work for me. I was so exhausted of trying to think of how to use the various systems that had talked about before, how to train my staff, what to do if they're off sick, what to do if they, quit suddenly. How do I replace these people? And I've got to tell you right now, I don't see working with the Vendoroo system ever changing for me and for my company, because all of those human sort of weaknesses that happen, not to downplay the importance of people in our operation, but so many of those pain points, have gone away by using Vendoroo. And so, yeah, zero obstacles.
Man, I love that, Aaron. And like a couple things come to mind. One is that it's one of the reasons why I'm here at RentVine is that we've tried to like understand that a property manager like you, Gina, like you guys on the call, they need the ability to have tech that like works really easily, where like it's an open infrastructure where you can use the stack that you want to. But I will say this, if you guys, so I think what Aaron touched on, if you guys haven't had the chance to kind of visualize where you might use AI to kind of take some of the processes out, go through that exercise. You can Google it. It's just called a customer journey exercise. There's a great kind of way to structure it. Things that are above the line where there's actual communication between your team and theirs, and then all the things below the line that are process driven that are happening on the back end as you guys develop how you can be a better servant to your clients. Go through that exercise of mapping your customer journey and look for the moments where AI can plug in, where something could be automated or something could be just easily added into your system to make that simple. Back over to you, Gina. So, like, if you were to give, like, what's a great first step? What's kind of actually working for you? Like some real stuff that these people on the call can grab and like start to implement tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. So let me be very transparent by saying we're definitely in the early stages of even having an understanding of the full potential of what incorporating AI assistance into our org chart could look like. So we're starting off by getting our team's toes wet. We're encouraging them to explore the AI tools that are being introduced within our current tech stack. We're encouraging our operators to find new and creative ways to use those tools that are existing within our tech stack. And we're reinforcing that use by giving culture call outs anytime an operator comes up with a new creative use case. So I think that, as I had mentioned, for me, buy-in from the team is really important. So we're very much in that phase where we're getting our team members the perspective that this is going to be a really great thing for them. And then I think in the very near future, we'll get to a point where we're fully incorporating AI virtual assistants into our org chart, into our processes. But for now, we're very much in a discovery phase, gaining that team buy-in, and more importantly, just constantly consuming all of this information that's coming out from, a huge explosion within the prop tech industry. There's new software, new companies coming out each day. So we're definitely trying to stay on top of all of the new cool bells and whistles.
Love it. And I put this in the chat, but I felt attacked earlier when Lindsay was like, even boomers would want to use an AI. And I'm like, okay, but I would say this, you might have someone in your company that is a champion of this. And so if you should identify that person early if it's not you, and bring them on and have them kind of run with it. Use a champion like that. But Aaron, why don't you jump on your soapbox? Like, tell us kind of what has actually been some of your key takeaways, what you would advise people kind of looking at this space, and what are the next steps for them?
Absolutely. So, we've talked about the quality of, again, the Vendoroo product. I swear they're not paying me for this. But the Vendoroo product was amazing from the very beginning, because prior to onboarding with Copilot, uploading all of our best practices, our contact information, our step-by-step processes when responding to emergencies, and all of this, I got to meet the team that I was going to be working with, and I was so impressed by Laura, who is my team manager. She knew the program so well. It was unbelievable. So I guess the first thing that really worked well with us with Vendoroo is that their team is already trained on how to implement and use AI in their day-to-day business. So it's kind of like what Gina was talking about. We're early adopters as well, and we're sort of all growing up together. So for all of those early adopters out there, I would just encourage them, do not be afraid of this. This is definitely the future. Going back to the Vendoroo team, I'm now working with a team of multilingual professionals working with softwares that can chat back and forth in, I know right now, English and Spanish and French. We're expanding into to other languages as well. They're able to perform so many more tasks with such a smaller team than what I had before. I'm not having to worry about the scope and the range that I'm going to have to cover, because Vendoroo AI is doing this for me on the front end, and it's being managed by these highly qualified individuals. So our remote team members are able to do more faster and better. Again, if you've read any of the studies about how fast AI processing works, no human being could ever keep up with artificial intelligence. And if I just had a bookend for Vendoroo, for the things that I love the most about Vendoroo is this, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, the cost of using Vendoroo and the Vendoroo team and all of their AI scaffolding is less than the cost of a single decently paid maintenance supervisor. I cannot speak to the value aspect of this enough that they provided a solution for me I could never have provided for myself.
Love it. Awesome. As I listen to you, I think about like the ways that RentVine has implemented AI, and it's very situation specific. And it seems like maintenance is one of those areas where it's just natural and normal for this to be automated and to use some of the tech and that vendors like Vendoroo have already built in. And so that gets me very excited too from a RentVine perspective, because as I mentioned, we're open. We're going to integrate perfectly with Vendoroo and with others on this call. But man, I'm just excited. So here's like your 30-second answer. What is next for you? So Gina, we'll start with you. Wrap it up. What's the next area of AI implementation in your business?
It's certainly going to be an AI maintenance coordinator. I'll say I started my property management career as a maintenance coordinator, and when I saw the Vendoroo product, I was absolutely blown away. My first reaction then was that I was jealous of what it was able to accomplish, and then I quickly got over that and realized what a powerful tool it could be. So yes, maintenance is one of those areas where it is so critical, so important, and it would be very exciting to have a virtual assistant in that realm.
Love it. Thanks, Gina. Aaron, wrap us up.
Randall, I love that you're asking this question. By the way, to the audience, we had no idea that this was going to be asked. And so this is off the top of Gina in my head, just right off the bat. Are you ready? It's leasing. About 45 days ago, 60 days ago, Lindsay got on the phone with me, with Jay, with Pablo, and I can't remember who else. And they were like, "What is your dream leasing platform?" And I have been so busy trying to keep up with, all of these transactions that have been coming through recently. I've not had the chance to really dive into that. But that's kind of my dream, that AI could interface with our customers better than the staff that I have here on hand, to be able to provide that immediate and insightful customer service and connect them with those showings, the application process, and the lease signing process easier than anybody here in-house.
I love it, Aaron. And thank you so much. And guys, we're going to be still plugging into the questions. I see some questions coming in for this group as well. I'll be in there typing answers also. But man, I think leasing is probably the other area that makes a lot of sense. So for me, it's any agentification. I don't even remember what Lindsay's term was about the agent nature of AI. I love that area. Maintenance is a no-brainer. And I think leasing, because most new companies that start, you kind of need to master a couple of things. You need to have the ability to sell, and usually that's the owner, not always. Sometimes a BDM comes in, but your other two big hires in person are going to be a leasing support person or someone who's doing all the leasing, and then a maintenance. And so those are the two areas that can really relieve a lot of stress on an early business and create better profit margins. So thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate the conversation. I feel enlightened, and I just appreciate the time. Thanks.
All right, this is extra outro because I didn't get to speak at all in this panel. But as you can tell, many ways to skin this cat. Aaron is super happy with what we're doing over there. I swear we didn't pay him. I did not know that he was going to gush about us so much over here at Vendoroo, but we love working with him, and we'd love to work with you. So if Aaron kind of talked you into being curious about Vendoroo and what we're doing, why don't you just hop on with us, take a demo. We'll talk you through all the exciting things that we're doing with him, that we could be doing with you, and help you join this AI movement. Go to vendoroo.ai and let him know that Aaron talked you into it. All right, hope to talk to you soon.